Hey guys, this is an apology video being made for Norvegan, and he very formally, shall we say, demanded an apology from me, and I'm giving it to him. I have a long history of this behavior on YouTube. I'm actually quite eager to give people apologies. Sometimes it helps, and sometimes it doesn't. A charming young fellow named Josh, who uses the YouTube moniker Vegan Revolution, way back before he started hating me, before anything got out of control, I made a YouTube video apologizing to him. Didn't help. At an early stage of my conflict with Durian Rider, he demanded that I make an apology video. He didn't demand an apology to him. He demanded that I apologize to Freely. And I responded by saying, great, let's do so. And I apologized as much as I possibly could, although in that case, I did have to use my imagination a bit to see how I had really wronged Freely. Like on a factual level, the videos I made about Freely were entirely accurate. Now, in this case with Norvegan, I understand why he's upset. I understand why he's demanding an apology. I hope from his perspective he can understand that from my position, there's been a haze of misinformation, and it's not reasonable to expect me to know something I haven't been told. Just put it that way. In a recent interview, a video that was a dialogue with another YouTuber, a video that I will now unlist, I will not have listed on YouTube just because the few seconds in it that mentioned Norvegan upset Norvegan, but that's fine. I can unlist the video. I got over 700 videos on my channel. It's not going to hurt me to unlist that one if it's going to, make him feel better, if it's going to address what he feels is, a real grievance. In a video I made, which was a spontaneous live conversation, I was being asked about Norvegan's recent video, at that time quite a new video, in which he filmed himself at YouTube headquarters, and he certainly insinuated that he was responsible for Durian Rider's channel being removed from circulation.
All I have to say is that I'm currently in San Francisco at the YouTube headquarters. I'm actually going to Hawaii. I'm just stopping by San Francisco because I had some business to take care of here. So yeah, I'm hearing that the Tumblr headquarters is in New York, and I'd like to go to New York.
And there is proof. YouTube headquarters.
Channel is taken down, down, down. You can't slander people.
Now, he is very offended that in that video, in a spontaneous conversation, I suggested that this might be a lie. I didn't say I knew that for a fact. I didn't say, I know for a fact he's lying. It was actually in a list of possible explanations. I said, well, maybe he's lying. He's certainly capable of lying. And I also said, maybe he's exaggerating. And I said, maybe he's misled himself. Maybe he was misled by whatever the employees at YouTube had to say to him. They might have said something reassuring, like, we'll take care of it. And he thought that meant they were going to take Durian Rider's channel down. This was my speculation. But he obviously was very, very hurt that I would suggest that he's capable of lying, or that he might be lying about a specific thing. Now, irony of ironies, he writes to me today. I only got this email today. I live on the Chinese time zone. I got an email from today in which he claims, by which I mean he openly asserts that in that video he was trolling. So this is a peculiar situation in terms of email etiquette. He is insisting he didn't lie in that video, but that he was trolling. So long story short, the video he made was deceptive and misleading, and it was intentionally deceptive and misleading. But from his perspective, that was trolling, that was not a lie. Now, it is a very, very peculiar thing that Michael would be so offended at my misinterpretation of his trolling as lying. And in this case, the particular form of trolling does involve intentionally misleading his audience, which he, again, he owns to. He's not claiming that he wasn't. He knows that he, sat there in front of YouTube headquarters and was leading the audience to believe something that was not true or not accurate. So this is coming pretty close to a lie, Michael, but nevertheless, Michael's very offended that I would suggest he's lying. But nevertheless, it's not without reason. It's not trivial. So something else I did not know until today, because nobody ever told me this, and on the contrary, what I was told was the opposite. Michael has told me that he is pressing ahead with rape allegations against Durian Rider.
And he made it about rape, although Hannah said nothing about rape in her video.
No, I went back and checked one of his older videos, and it, in a very confusing, very concealed manner, in a manner that I missed. I didn't get it when I watched his earlier video. He has actually said that at least once publicly before.
And we're gonna make it about rape, just as Holly wanted.
I didn't get it when I watched his earlier video. He has actually said that at least once publicly before, that in terms of the direction he's going with his series of videos in a period of months, his conclusion is actually that he's going to make rape allegations against Darien Ryder. And for that reason, he is very concerned to have anyone on the internet say that he's a liar or capable of lying about anything.
So we're gonna be fully transparent, as Holly wanted, and we're gonna let you be the judge, as Holly wanted, and we're gonna make it about rape, just as Holly wanted.
Again, I sympathize. I now understand, and only now after receiving this email from him, okay, so that's the situation he's in. The situation he's in is that he is being extremely vigilant about his online credibility, and he's extremely upset, which is fine. It's nothing wrong with being upset, because he is basically in the process of putting together rape allegations against a public figure. And that is very, very serious business. I want to say this again. I objected to Darien Ryder making allegations against me.
He accused Eisel of inviting young girls back to his apartment or his hotel room, and that's exactly what I experienced. The irony of it is that it wasn't Eisel that invited me back to his hotel room, it was Harley. It is completely hypocritical of Harley to accuse someone else of contacting young girls on the internet, luring them back to his hotel room to ask them for sex, when that is literally exactly what he himself has done.
Were totally baseless and totally false, and Darien Ryder knew he was lying, and we've now gone to court, and most of you guys watch this video already know the whole story. But I did not do that because I wanted to live in a world where other people made reckless allegations against Darien Ryder. So you guys may not remember this, but in the past, I stood up to defend Darien Ryder when he was the one being defamed by Vegan Cheetah, also known as Charles Marlowe. I've actually repeatedly had to stand up for and defend Darien Ryder in just that sense. The reason being, I wanted to make it clear to people, look, my fundraiser was called Vegans Against Violence and Defamation. I don't just want people to stop defaming me. That's not the point. That's not the point of the donations. I'm not just opposed to defamation when I'm the one being defamed. I'm opposed to defamation across the board. I'm opposed to these kinds of reckless allegations and infighting. I'm opposed to it even when Darien Ryder is the one being defamed, when Darien Ryder is the victim of, slander, of someone blackening his character. And definitely, back when Vegan Cheetah was doing it, that was just reckless slander. That was defamation as a sport. That was Cheetah just trying to get more views by, I think, making up salacious and false news to entertain his viewers. So obviously that is not the situation Michael is in. That's not the situation Norvegan is in. However, with that having been said, I have to insist again, I have absolutely no inside information about this. Until today, when Norvegan wrote to me clarifying this fact and demanding an apology, I had no basis to apologize, and I had no understanding of what this was. My knowledge of the situation was based on one Skype conversation I had with Hannah Chloe. Hannah Chloe is Michael's girlfriend, sorry, for those who don't know. And, a couple of emails, which didn't really tell me much. And one written statement from Hannah that was on YouTube that clarified what she said in her earlier video, an earlier video that was, I think we can all say, intentionally vague. She made a video that definitely did not use the rape word, and since then they followed up by saying this wasn't about rape.
And he made it about rape, although Hannah said nothing about rape in her video.
But I think Michael Hebo's point is now he's come to a turn in the road where they are pursuing this as allegations of rape. And as such, of course, that changes the significance of the whole narrative leading up to this point.
The second night was basically the same as the first night. He asked me if I'd thought about what we talked about the night before, and I said yes, I had thought about it, and the answer was still no. But he didn't respect my answer. He kissed me anyway and then started to ask for more. I ended up making excuses. I had a friend in my apartment that I had to get back to. I was on my period. I was uncomfortable with how close it was to the breakup with Freely, but he didn't listen to my excuses and he continued to ask me for more. At the time, I looked up to him because he'd always been nice to me and I saw him as a friend.
And he made it about rape, although Hannah said nothing about rape in her video.
Now, obviously, I haven't explained every single detail of the situation, and honestly, I already feel uncomfortable revealing this much, but I do feel that it's important for me to speak up because the behaviour that Harley is accusing Isel of is exactly what I experienced.
Michael, Hebo, Norvegan, look, man, I think you've been under a lot of pressure. I think you've received email from hundreds of people in the last couple of months, and you've probably written email to hundreds of people in the last couple of months. So I think one of the mistakes you're making here is just assuming I know things I don't know, and even assuming you've told me things you haven't told me. I think that's understandable for someone in your position. You were probably writing a lot of emails about exactly this issue to a lot of different people, and you may just be assuming that I know more about the situation or care more about the situation than I do. You're a complete stranger to me. I'm not involved in your business. I'm not involved in your drama. So you can't expect somebody to know something they don't know. You can't get so angry at or upset at somebody when they don't know. And I mean, in this case, the actual spark for this apology doesn't even have to do with the big R word. It doesn't have to do with rape. It just has to do with the fact that he was extremely upset and offended that I would say he was lying in a video where he was in fact trolling.
So I'm getting a ton of comments and messages about the Narc's channel being taken down, and I get a lot of questions asking if it's my work. All I have to say is that I'm currently in San Francisco at the YouTube headquarters, and I have a document with tons of examples of the Narc violating YouTube's terms of service.
But again, I'm an outsider. I just watched the video. I didn't talk to him. I didn't have any inside information. Is it really reasonable to be, so harsh towards someone who has no bad intentions and you're just saying, well, I watched this video. Apparently it's misleading or untrue. He says it's misleading and untrue because it's trolling and therefore not a lie. Okay, Michael, I'll hand that to you. From my perspective, I have no conflict with you. Back when I made videos that were supportive of Hannah Chloe, those were based on her own public account of what happened with her Enduring Rider. They weren't based on any inside information. And then I was shocked when, more than a year later, you, Michael, were writing to me complaining that my version of events in those old videos was fundamentally in agreement with Durian Rider and was not in agreement with Hannah. And it was like, well, what are you talking about, man?
But Harley simply needs to stop accusing other people of behaviour that he himself is guilty of. Harley, you accuse people of reaching out to young girls online in order to ask them for sex when you yourself have done that. You accuse a lot of other people of being on the juice when you yourself are currently on steroids. Harley, stop the bullshit accusations towards other people of behaviour that you yourself are guilty of. Please stop creating drama and infighting within the vegan community and focus on the bigger issues here.
And he made it about rape, although Hannah said nothing about rape in her video.
And it was like, well, what are you talking about, man? In those videos I very briefly allude to things that I have no source of information for aside from Hannah herself. So, if you're going to come on the internet and you're going to trade in information that has intentional omissions or is in this way, like in the case of this trolling, intentionally misleading, he certainly has his reasons for that. As he has said to me bluntly, he sees himself as being in the position of building up to, of building a case for rape allegations, of putting that together step by step. Okay. I take his word for it, of course. Okay. So I assume they have a rape case and they want to present it to the world, and maybe they want to present it in course. Maybe they want to present it in court. How would I know that? My information, this again from more than a year ago, was that one video from Hannah, like one written comment she made, one Skype conversation I had with her. Nobody told me this, least of all you, Michael. So, long story short, I hope you accept this apology and get on with your life.
All I have to say is that I'm currently in San Francisco at the YouTube headquarters. I'm actually going to Hawaii. I'm just stopping by San Francisco because I had some business to take care of here.
And there is proof. YouTube headquarters.